Welcome back to Frontline Faith. Today, I've got a very special guest. First interview ever on this podcast, and there's going to be many more to come, but this one may be the best. It may set the bar high for whoever's afterwards. That's right, my very own daughter, a pastor's kid, my intern over the Christmas break, just finished her first semester of college. Emma, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
I think it's going to be an awesome show. Thank you for listening. Let's get ready to party.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everyone, welcome to Frontline Faith, a weekly podcast where faith and culture meet. I'm your host, Pastor Ryan, a 20-year Army veteran, 2 decades of ministry experience. Thanks for listening. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. You're listening to Frontline Faith. Welcome back. Hey, Emma does not know any of these questions that I'm about to ask. And so this is all off the top of her head, spur of the moment interview. The first thing you've done, you have come into my office today as intern Emma.
Yes.
And you have looked at all my books and you have color coordinated my commentaries.
I have.
Thank you for that. And we're going to jump into this interview. Now, you are attending Eastern Kentucky University.
Yes.
Do you want to say your major? Or you want to wait? Do you want to jinx it, or do you want to just save that for later?
I'll save it for later.
Okay, so we'll talk about it later, or maybe another podcast. But first semester, you passed all your classes. Things are going well.
Yes.
Anything you want to tell incoming freshmen about what classes are like, scheduling like? I mean, we'll get into more detail, but what's the first thing that you would tell someone else? Hey, you're getting ready to go to college. Here's what you need to know.
I would say the biggest thing you need to learn how to do is manage your time.
Ooh.
Because in college, you're going to want to do a bunch of different things, and schoolwork should always come first before the fun things. So making sure you get your schoolwork done is the top priority.
Nice. That's good advice. Let's talk about this. How does it feel to be a college student, right? Think about like in your elementary days, your middle school days, your high school days, and you're like, I'm going to go to college one day, and now you're there. Now, what does it feel like? Like, just give me a word or two. What does it feel like to be a college student?
Stressful.
Stressful. Like anything else?
It's definitely not what I thought it would be like.
Okay. Unpack that a little bit. What do you mean by that? Like, it's not what you thought. What did you think it was going to be first?
I thought it was going to be more fun.
You think it was going to be like the movies, the girl that goes to college and becomes a lawyer?
Yeah.
What is the name of that movie? It's like she's wearing all pink.
Legally Blonde?
Legally Blonde. You thought it was going to be like that?
Yeah.
Like, just like, I don't know, frilly parties,
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of stuff. Now, there are some of that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you say it's stressful. Why is it stressful?
The workload is a lot more.
Okay, so different than high school.
Yeah.
High school, you get a Chromebook and you got to do all your stuff. You can usually do that at school, and you don't have to do anything at home sometimes, right? But now college, it's like it's 24/7 worrying about grades, reading, keeping up with writing, things like that.
And your professors don't care if you
Ooh, yeah.
don't get things turned in.
So next up, maybe there's a freshman or someone that's coming into college that's thinking about this, and they want to you're a believer, and what's there to do like in most colleges? How does someone practice their faith? How does someone grow in their faith while they're at college? Like, that's a little bit deeper question than what we've talked about so far. Maybe some of your experiences too.
I would say to get plugged in with a church ministry on campus. There's a BCM at my campus, and I go there.
What is BCM?
Baptist Student Ministry.
Okay, Baptist. Okay. Anything like outside of that you've been connected with?
I participate in a Bible study.
Okay, is that just for freshmen, or is that?
It's just for freshman girls.
Oh, nice. So you have a freshman girl group that you kind of study the Bible with, things like that. As you're taking classes, things like that. Do you think that is more stress on you to do, or does it feel like more work, or is it like maybe a little bit more relaxing?
No, it's definitely more relaxing.
Awesome. So the struggle's real, right? To practice your faith and being in college. Here's the thing. This is called Frontline Faith. And so my idea for this podcast is that I would interview people that are actually in the public square, meaning they're out in the community, out in the world, but they're still practicing their faith among a world that doesn't, right? So EKU, it's not a Christian school,
No.
right? It's a secular college, meaning it's just a ordinary college that everybody goes to. Would you say that it's easy to be a believer at Eastern, or is it harder? Is it easier than you've experienced in the past, or is it really does it challenge you?
I'd say it's harder
Why?
because there's not as many people that are willing to talk about it, and people are more reserved, I feel like. And so if they are Christians, they don't talk about it.
Ooh, that it opens up another question. You've mentioned this before, and I want you to kind of unpack a little bit. Oh, your mom and we met at Eastern Kentucky University, right? I flunked out. I slept more than I went to classes. Didn't feel like I was really moving in any direction there at EKU. I knew God had a calling on my life, and then when I went to pursue that, I got A's and B's at another college, right? Mom graduated from there, but we've told you like, hey, it's the best time of your life. Get involved. There's so many things to do, but there's a little bit of a catch, right? There weren't iPods or cell phones that connected to music back then. We had cell phones, but it wasn't the same. What has been in your experience that you've told us about like just walking on campus and interacting with people?
I feel like it's harder to interact with people because everyone's always on their phone or has their AirPods in with their heads down, and people don't really talk as much as they used to just because they're always on electronics.
Yeah. Are there any ways to try to meet people, like other than the groups, like you've mentioned the collegiate groups, the faith groups like that, but have you tried anything like to maybe go to the cafeteria or go to anywhere, like you went to the library one time? Is there anything that you've done that has kind of changed that norm of like keeping your head down, listening to music?
I've been to the campus events. They have different events on campus.
Nice. What's your favorite event so far that they've done?
I really liked the concert, the
Ooh,
Flo
nice.
Rida concert.
The Flow Rider. I don't know any of his music. I mean, he was there a while, but
Mhm.
I want to dive a little bit deeper. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So you and I have talked about one of your classes in particular that you had to write a lot for, right? And you wrote different things about different articles. Have you encountered any situation where a professor has challenged your faith?
Yes, the first paper that he had us write was about David Thoreau's civil disobedience.
So right out the gate, like not even like any kind of prep time, it's like, hey,
First one.
here's your first article, write about it. Now, David Thoreau, his civil disobedience was like, don't trust the government. You can ignore the government, ignore rules and laws, things like that.
Yeah.
He kind of isolated himself too, I think, right?
Yeah.
He kind of went off and did his own thing. And you wrote about it. Do you remember anything you wrote about it? Like just off the top of your head?
I wrote that the Bible tells us to obey authority, and his whole thing was basically not to obey authority no matter what.
Yeah.
And I was basically talking about how the Bible says to obey authority as long as it doesn't go against my faith.
Yeah. And he wrote back.
Yes.
And he said what?
I'm going to read what he commented on my paper.
Nice.
He said, "What if the government tells you to harm your neighbors? What if the government told you to help round up people living and working in your community and ship them off to deportation camps?" And then he said, "When will your faith leave the church building and enter real-world politics?"
Nice. Yeah. So it sounded like when you first sent it to me, I was like, man, he's really like getting after it. But then you've said something a little bit different over the semester. He talked a lot about the Bible.
Yes.
But it wasn't in a negative way.
No.
And so do you think he's a Christian?
I'm not sure.
Or he just maybe was pushing you to look outside of just your typical and your Sunday school answer, right?
Yeah.
The what he wrote the first time was really interesting that I wrote back to you. I gave you some encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think it helped you or not? Do you think it was neutral or did it actually help you in a little bit of your faith?
I'd say it was pretty neutral.
Yeah. But besides that professor, any other challenges as far as faith goes on campus for you?
Well, there's these people that live in my hallway in my dorm room.
Ooh, what's going on there?
They always wanted me to go out and party and do these things, and I didn't want to do those things. So I kind of wasn't able to make as many friends as the people in mine.
Yeah, everybody's tempted, right, in college, right? There's a
Yeah.
lot of things you could do in college, a lot of things that we would say is wrong or things that might not be smart, right, to do. But now that you're 18, there's choices that you make. You have to make them when you go to college. I can't, go with you. Your mom can't go with you, things like that. I am proud of you as your dad, right? You got your head on straight and your heart seems to be in the right spot. And again, will you make mistakes?
Yes.
Yeah. Will I make mistakes?
Yes.
Yeah, we all make mistakes, right? It's how we view or what our perspective is after that. What would you say to a student who feels isolated at college?
Get involved with as much as you can.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot, right? And we're
Yeah.
gonna unhash it here, but I think that's the biggest thing. One of the first things that I was told when I went to college was like, look to your right, look to your left. Half the people are not going to be here when you graduate, right? In 4 years, whatever. I don't know. You had a similar general class like that. Did they say anything like that? Like your intro class, like your GSD class?
They said that if people don't get plugged in, they're probably not going to make it.
I guess they've said it over 20 years.
Yeah.
I guess to our group now to your group. Do you think there's truth to that?
I do, yeah. Because it's pretty lonely if you don't have a group of people to talk to.
Yeah, that stinks. It's just nobody wants to be alone,
Yeah.
right? But there's sometimes I want to be not alone. Alone's different. I think alone is different than being by yourself, thinking and processing things. There's isolation and then there's just quiet time, right? I think isolation is where like I don't want to be around people. I'm not going to be around people. I think that's a little bit more harmful than just like, hey, I want some quiet time to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of quiet time, in your dorm, now you put a lot of lights in your room. It's really fancy, demure. What would you say is your go-to Netflix show while you're at school?
Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore, what?
Yes.
I've never seen Gilmore Girls. I know it was a big thing back in the early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s.
Yeah.
What's so good about it? Like, why do you like it? What connects you to it?
Well, it's about a mom and daughter.
Okay.
And
A mom and daughter?
yeah, a mom
Okay.
and daughter. And it's about how
I thought they were sisters.
No.
Okay.
And it's about how they like grew up and she was going to this high school and like her high school experiences. And then recently in the series or where I'm at now, she's gone to college, so it's more like relatable to now
Oh yeah, gotcha.
where I'm at.
I got you. Let's switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
While you're watching Gilmore Girls, what's your go-to snack?
Oreos.
Really?
Yes.
And protein milk or just milk?
And yeah, the protein
Really?
shakes, yeah.
The protein shakes. Now, I know you like protein shakes, you like exercise and all that good stuff. Let's get a little serious.
Okay.
We've already been a little bit serious, but let's get more serious. Which dog do you miss the most? Yogi or Oscar? Now, if you don't know, you're listening to this podcast. We have a Shih Tzu named Oscar. He's older, little white and black. And then we have a new young puppy named Yogi. He is a miniature golden doodle.
Yes.
He sleeps with you.
He
Yogi
does
does.
sleep with
Oscar
me.
sleeps in a cage in the basement in the dark by himself. Which one do you miss the most when
That's-
you're at college?
That's hard because we've had Oscar for a lot longer.
Yep.
I had him when I was little.
Yep. You
But-
were about 7 when we got him.
Yeah. But Yogi, it's different because I sleep with him every night.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really hard.
You got to pick.
Honestly,
The house is on fire. You're saving one. Which one are you going to grab?
probably Yogi.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, 2 reasons. One, because he has more life to live because he's younger. And
Okay.
2, Oscar likes you better than me anyways. So,
All right. So we kind of teased a little bit at the beginning. Do you want to tell your major or no? You want to wait until another podcast?
I'll tell it.
All right. What is your major right now?
It is pre-nursing.
Okay. So you're doing like some prerequisite stuff, your general
Yes.
education. In a couple, probably your next year and a half, you'll
Yeah.
be applying for the nursing program.
I will.
Now, the reason why I was tentative because a lot of people change their major every week, right? Do you have
Yeah.
met anybody like that yet or no?
Yeah, I have.
Really?
Yeah.
Who? Don't say their name, but what have they changed it to and from, if you remember?
Someone that I knew wanted to do criminal justice,
Yeah.
and they changed it to teaching.
Did they tell you why they changed it, or did they just like
they didn't want to do criminal justice.
nice? The criminal justice, I think, is a big program there at Eastern.
Yeah, it is.
Teaching is, nursing is.
Yeah.
Is there any other big ones? Flight aviation is really big now too.
Yeah,
at Eastern. All right, let's talk about something else. Are you ready?
Yeah.
If you had to describe your dorm room in one word, you get one word to describe it. What is the word?
Ghetto.
Ghetto? Why?
Because we have roaches.
Roaches. Oh, well, it is an older dorm, but
Yes.
but the good thing about your dorm is it's right in the middle of campus. Like it's center. You're close to eating. You're close to shopping. You're close to classroom. Like you're close to everything.
But it's not.
But there's no parking.
There's no parking.
Yeah, right next to your building.
And we can't change the temperature of the air.
That's true.
There's mold on my vent.
Oh gosh.
We have roaches.
How do you keep yourself encouraged when you're there? Like how do you stay motivated living in the ghetto?
Well, because I have a lot of LED lights, so
Yeah.
I just turn on my lights and turn on the TV, and
You make it look cool.
I try to make it look as pretty as I can.
I like it. What scripture has come to mind during your semester? Like what's a go-to verse that you've looked at, or something that you've thought about from scripture, or maybe a song, whatever? What's your go-to thing? Like, you know what, I'm gonna read this, or I'm gonna look at this on a regular, just to kind of stay in the right mindset.
The Great Commandment, where Jesus says to love God and love people.
Nice. So that's
Yes.
Matthew 22, starting in verse 36. A scribe asked Jesus to try to trap him. What's the greatest commandment?
Mhm.
And Jesus then answers, love the Lord your God with our heart, soul, and mind.
Yes.
This is the first. The second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two. Love God, love people, right? It
Yes.
just sums it up nicely. So how do you do that at college? How do you love God and love people at college? Like what? Share that a little bit if you want to.
Just making sure that over everything else, I'm putting God first and reading my Bible every day. And loving people is when I see people that are lonely, I might want to go talk to them or sit with them or just showing the love of God.
Nice. Hey, here's some rapid fire questions. Don't think, just answer. Are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. What's your favorite class so far?
English.
What is your go-to snack?
Oreos.
What is your biggest dorm life hack?
I open my windows at night because it's hot.
One word to describe your first semester.
Interesting.
Favorite shirt.
My Abby Lee Dance Mom shirt.
Shoes you wear the most.
My Uggs.
Where do you park?
I park in the Lancaster lot, which is basically 10 minutes away from my dorm.
Favorite professor.
My GSD professor.
Nice. Rapid fire is not too bad, right?
No.
Okay, you've passed rapid fire questions. And now I want to get into something personal. Are you ready?
I am.
What is your go-to TikTok video style? Your type? What is your video type? What do you watch? What do you go to? What do you watch?
I like to watch Get Ready With Me's.
That's GWMs, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, GRWM.
GRWM.
Yeah. And they're basically ASMR, weird, here's my makeup routine.
Yeah, makeup routine.
Or wash my face, makeup.
Yeah, and hair.
So weird. What do you think your mom's go-to videos are?
Dog videos.
Ooh, what are mine?
Probably dog videos.
Ooh, I don't know. Lately, it's been that one where they put the Madonna song over it.
Oh.
And the top meme, it's a meme, but the top is like, ladies or girls, I want to die in my sleep. And it says men.
Yeah.
And it's like some kind of guy charging into battle.
Yeah. Or
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's accurate. Right.
for some men.
What about school food? How's that?
It's terrible.
Why?
The cafeteria food is it's pretty bad.
There's got to be something good there, right? What's something the good that you've had there?
Like in the cafeteria?
Yeah.
Salad.
And there's also a food court, right? And
Yeah.
you use your flex dollars for that.
I go there every day.
Yeah. Chick-fil-A, Subway,
Yes.
Panda Express.
And then Moe's.
Moe's. And there's also a EKU diner, right? Or
Yeah, there's
what's
a grill.
What's it called? What's it called? Just the Colonel Grill?
I think it's the Colonel Grill.
Nice. What do they have there?
They have burgers, chicken tenders, fries, pizza. That's
Ooh.
it.
What lately you've been so you've taken a nutrition class.
Yes.
We've talked a little bit about it. What do you think about the new RFK Jr. Make America Healthy Again looking at all the ingredients that we use in our foods and all that stuff?
I think it's great
Why?
because a lot of the foods we eat is processed with chemicals and pesticides and everything. I think we need to change it.
Yeah, I saw a video where like other countries ban our food, or they have like
Yeah.
a warning label on food from the U.S. saying like, "Hey, there's a lot of chemicals in here that aren't healthy."
Yeah, in my psychology class, there was actually a guy from Ireland, and he would talk to us about how the food here's way unhealthy than it is in Ireland.
It's creepy. It's creepy.
Yeah.
Do you think it's on purpose? Do you think that the United States did it on purpose, or do you think it's just something we've done to kind of make food last longer?
I think it could be both.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, I feel like it is to last longer. That's why they put the chemicals in it. But I also think it is like cheaper. Like they try to make it cheaper so that you'll buy more of it. And it could also go with the thing like
with big pharma.
And like they want you to get sick so that you'll
then you go to the doctor and then they'll
yeah.
give you medicine. You got to do this big cycle.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
Yeah. If there was no unhealthy people, pharmacies and doctors wouldn't have money to make, right?
Right.
I mean, I guess that's a conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about UFOs? Are they real?
I think they are real.
Why?
I've been seeing videos on my TikTok.
Do they talk about anything like that in college? Like UFOs or like angels, demons, that kind of stuff?
I haven't heard any, no.
Yeah. What do college students talk about right now, like all over campus?
One of the most recent biggest topics has been the election.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
Trump and Kamala.
Did you guys have safe spaces where people could go and like feel good about themselves because of the election results?
Yeah, there was some of them.
What have you heard on campus about it?
A lot of mixed, like a lot of students wanted blue and red happened, and they weren't happy about that.
Yeah.
Very opinionated about it.
Nice. Do you think that's good to express that on college campuses? Or do you think it's like, that's just what we're supposed to do? We're Americans.
I mean, I think it's just people can have opinions because we live in a free country, but to the point where it gets violent, I don't think that's okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Bible talks a lot about, listening to authority, right?
Yeah.
Following in line with authority. God is the one who puts authority over us. And our job is not to overthrow authority, right?
Yeah.
Unless it tells us to do things that is in opposition to God's word, things like that. But as we go through life, we're going to hear other opinions and we're going to meet other people that think differently than us, right? I think college is good for that. Do you think that's helped you so far? Just one semester, like meeting new people that have different opinions, different ideas?
Yeah.
Why?
Because, I mean, I think it shows me that other people think differently and that I like how I think and that I like where my faith is and I wouldn't want to change my faith, to think how other people think.
Yeah, it's good. This has been a great podcast, a good interview.
Yes.
I want to say that I'm proud of you, being my daughter, right? They say the firstborn daughter is more like her dad than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that we're pretty close to being alike, right? In a lot of ways, a lot of areas, but passing your first semester, it's a big hurdle.
Yes.
And next semester you have anatomy and chemistry back to back
at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's gonna be awesome, and you're gonna do great.
Thank you.
And Mom and Dad are proud of you.
Thank
and
you.
What would you want to say to yourself in the future? Like, say 4 years down the road, you're ready to graduate. What would you say to yourself right now?
That I can do it.
that you did it, right?
Oh, yeah, that I did it and that it was worth it.
Nice. Hey, thank you for joining the podcast.
Thank you.
If you're listening to this podcast, leave a review, rate this podcast because it helps get it out there. Do you want to share your Insta?
Sure.
What is it?
It's at Emma L. Marcum.
Thank you for joining Frontline Faith. Again, if you're listening to this, please share it, all that good stuff.
Yes.
And Emma, thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me.
You're listening to Frontline Faith.